So, as we've been hearing, South Korea has decided not to extend GSOMIA. The military pact had been renewed every year since it was signed in 2016. But for this year, Japan's continuing trade restrictions against South Korea has led to Seoul taking drastic action. Let's take a closer look at this issue. And for that, I'm pleased to be joined by Dr. Jung-yeop, Research Fellow at the Sejong Institute, who joins me in the studio today. Thank you for coming in, Dr.
Thanks for having me today.
Now, let's begin with South Korea's decision to terminate the GSOMIA. Can you first tell us of the implications of today's announcement?
So the immediate outcome of today's decision not to extend the GSOMIA by South Korean government is that there's no more information sharing between Korea and Japan. However, the further implications from today's decision is that there's going to be a serious issue on the trilateral security cooperation between Korea, US, and Japan, because GSOMIA was first facilitated by the United States for the information sharing between Korea and Japan.
Right, and Tokyo has said on numerous occasions that it wants GSOMIA extended. Japan's Defense Minister Takeshi Iwaya just today told reporters that Tokyo wishes for the agreement to be renewed. How do you think Japan, well, Japan has already said it's expressed regret. What other reactions do you think will Japan have?
So when Japan expressed their some negative feelings about the South Korea's not to extend the GSOMIA, actually the audience is not for Japanese or Korean. The audience is actually the U.S. government. So Japan has been mentioning that Japan wants the GSOMIA, but it would be South Korea's fault if it's not extended. So the concerns is not about like Japan's reaction, but how U.S. is going to view South Korean government today's decision. So I think we have to see how U.S. government is going to react for today's decision by South Korean government.
Right. And speaking of the US, GSOMIA has been extended every year now since its implementation in 2016. Some argue it's vital for South Korea's national security, but as you say, trilateral security ties with Japan and the US. Some question whether it will have an impact on that, and others question the effectiveness of the pact. Your thoughts?
So the GSOMIA does not mean the automatic transmission of the important information from Korea to Japan. So there's another tool that South Korea still can share the information with Japan via United States. US, Korea, and Japan has trilateral information sharing agreement. So if South Korea shares the information with the United States can share the information with Japan. But however, if without GSOMIA, there is a problem if three countries convene together to discuss the matter, because there is no GSOMIA between Korea and Japan, Korea and Japan cannot bring up the important information when it's a trilateral settings. So I think that U.S. government probably would issue some kind of negative criticism about Korean government today's decision. But now it's South Korean government task to tell the U.S. government that why South Korean government had to make this kind of decision when we all know this kind of repercussions after we decided not to extend the GSOMIA.
Obviously, this decision is not going to help with South Korea-Japan relations, but do you think it will serve as a catalyst in improving the ties? Will it spur Japan to make some concessions, or how do you think it will affect relations down the line?
I think it definitely shows that how South Korean government is not satisfied with the current Japanese government's move. So I think there's some kind of effect that we can tell the international community that these kind of incidents are all caused by Japanese incorrect move towards South Korean government. However, we don't know yet whether this kind of move can be a catalyst for the further improving South Korean and Japan relations. So I think we still have to see that how this is going to evolve in the future, because GSOMIA is not only about bilateral issue between Korea and Japan, it's more of the issue involve the United States. So I think we have to see.
Okay, well, Dr. Jung-yeop, thank you for your time today. Don't go too far, because you will be joining us again for News in Depth after our newscast. In the meantime, thank you for your insights.
Thank you.